Someone who knows how can pick a lock using just a paperclip. How about with a smartphone? Researchers at the National University of Singapore wondered if smartphone audio of a key turning inside a lock could be used to figure out the shape of that key. And spoiler alert, under the right conditions, they could create a few very good candidate keys, including the correct key. Sandhya Ramesh, a grad student who led the work on the project, which the researchers called Spy Key, said that the work was inspired by some previous research where the movement of smartwatches on people's wrists was used to figure out the code of combination locks.
Essentially, what they did was they were looking at smartwatches on your wrist in order to infer the pin to the combination lock. So in some sense, they're able to measure the angle, right? So we were like, okay, wait, people are doing this for combination locks. Maybe like there are some, similar insights that we can apply to other kinds of locks. And the most prevalent kind of locks is kind of physical locks and keys.
The first task for the team was to get audio from a key opening a lock and to see if they could pull useful information out of that audio.
Whenever you insert a key into a lock, it produces a series of click sounds.
The pins of the lock moving over the ridges of the key is what produces the clicks,
which is not really audible for the human ear because it's too close to be resolvable. But when you hear it from a high-quality microphone, you can actually clearly hear these click sounds.
Once they verified that getting this series of clicks out of the audio was possible, they moved on to using simulations. And that's because for the type of lock that they chose, the quote-unquote key space, or the number of possible unique keys, was 586,584. And they wanted to test how this type of analysis would work on every possible key. So instead of getting actual audio for 586,000 keys, they just simulated where the clicks would be in those audio recordings.
Spy Key was like the best case analysis for an attacker. So if he manages to get all the click information precisely, then this is how the results would be.
Using the time between each click and some clever geometry, the researchers attempted to figure out the shape of each key. Immediately, about half of the possible keys were deemed unattackable. And that's because some of the clicks that those keys would produce would overlap with each other. This left about 330,000 potential key shapes. More analysis was able to narrow down each sound signature to just a handful of key patterns. The research was presented at ACM's Hot Mobile 2020, which is a computer science research conference. The strategy is a long way from being viable in the real world. For one thing, it relies on the key being inserted at a constant speed. And for another, the audio element has a lot of challenges, like background noise.
The main point of this work was not really to see, stop using these keys because they're not really good. It's more about just being aware of what keys we're using, what locks we're using. So I think being aware of what is actually on your front door is very important.
OK， 今天这篇主要在讲是，它可以用手机的一个程式或者一个 audio 去听出这个钥匙。在听那个钥匙在转的时候的 click 的那个声音，然后可以去辨识说这只钥匙长什么样子。然后，但是经过实验之后，他们发现就是大概只有一半的能用，因为另外一半会有出现一些其他问题，甚至什么在转的时候它没有跟它 match 到之类的，或者是说对，反正就是有一些问题。然后最后他有说还有一些奇怪的因素，例如什么背景音效或者是一些因素，对，这样。
好的，因为我完全听不懂啊，然后有中间有听到那个什么，有一些数字什么500% 什么东西，然后还有听到那个什么 alcohol，我真的是这样而已。